Hi friends. Delayed together run, haven't done one of these in a while because I lost my microphone and I've ordered a new one, so now I have a new one. I have no idea where the other one is. Tried to find it for weeks and weeks, couldn't, so I gave up. Probably find it tomorrow. Well, no, I won't because I'm in England, but I'll find it the day I get home. Okay, it's been a while, might be a bit rusty, but I want us to begin by touching some element of nature. I'm going to go touch. My mum has these, I don't even know the name of them. It's a very common flower, but they're little white flowers. It is absolutely ginormous, this plant. And just going to admire that, touch it for a minute. You touched your element of nature. If you are on a treadmill, you can just feel the ground beneath you. We're ready to go? 3, 2, and 1. Off we go. Now, I have to tell you, it's a little bit windy. I have a new watch, and I haven't done any of the settings. I haven't even paired it with my phone yet. I couldn't figure out how to do that this morning. So, it's probably going to beep. And as if you know me well, you know that I don't like the beeps being on at all. And when other people's watches beep, pace per mile or every mile, I usually then go on to give them a lecture about why they shouldn't use why they should turn that off. So it's quite funny that now I'm doing it. Likely, I don't know, but I'm assuming the settings would be that way. But I'll tell you about that another time. Today, first together run in a while. Probably been 6 weeks since I've recorded one. And I finally got my mic because Steve arrived in the UK. And I thought I'd take you to this beautiful national forest we have here in St Albans, which is about 15 minutes away from my parents' house run. So we won't have that much time in the forest because I have to run back, but just such a nice place to go. And so I thought this would be a good opportunity to take you with me and enjoy it together, as this is a together run. I'm hoping that some of you missed that these were happening and you're excited to have them back. I'm excited to be back. I love doing these with you. So let's kick off our usual beginning points, our meditative aspects, our grounding exercises. We did the nature check-in. Now we will go on to do a body scan. For those of you who haven't done this before, just do these connecting to our body and mind pieces, and then we go on to more of a conversation where it's a little more like running with a friend. So you have a 30-minute, a 45-minute and a 60-minute option. And I haven't run the last 2 days, so I'm a little bit out of breath. Not because of that, but I think the last few days were pretty intense on my body and just feeling a bit tired. So if you hear me doing that, you can yell at me in your mind to slow down, and maybe in the future somehow I'll listen. Okay, so let's begin with our body scan. So what we're going to do, I hope it's not too windy for you. I didn't realise it was windy this morning, but it is. We're going to start from the top of our head, scan our way down. I will call out certain parts of the body as we go, so you can check in with those areas. Just see how everything is feeling, and just, connecting to our bodies. Just going into an alleyway that leads to a public footpath. So nice and sheltered by trees. All those cyclists around. So it should be a bit quieter in here. And I'm actually just going to pass a very older couple. I don't want to freak them out, so I'm going to give them a little bit of silence as I go past them. Just coming up behind you. Oh, thank you. Okay, right, let's begin our body scan. Beginning from the top of your head, working your way down into your eyes, making sure those are nice and relaxed, not squinting, not holding them the tension there, and working your way around to the back of your head. I really need to learn the name of that, like, bump, the back of our skull. Someone tell me. I always forget to look it up. Coming back around into your nose, your mouth and your jaw, making sure that's nice and relaxed. So not holding the tension there either by clenching your teeth and going down into the chin, the front of the neck, round to the back of the neck, going into the back of your shoulders, going down the arms, top of the arm, around the elbow, into the lower arm, and then continuing down into the wrist and hands, and finally into your fingers, going back into the torso, going down through your chest, your upper back, your lower back, and round to the stomach, into the hips, into the pelvis, down into your glutes, into the top of your quad, round the back to the hamstrings, going into your knee, and around the back of the knee, going down into your calf, into your shin, come down into the inside of your ankle and the outside of your ankle, down into the heel, your arch of your foot, top of your foot, and finally into your toes. How is everything feeling? For me, as I said, hinted at earlier, feeling a little bit lethargic. I've had a busy few days. I'll tell you more about that in a bit. But nothing specifically jumping out as painful or tight. Just feel a bit heavy-legged. There's a lot more people on here than I thought there'd be at this time. This is testing my ability to be comfortable talking into this mic, as it's been a while. Okay, so the next thing we're going to go into is our census check-in. So what we're going to do, we're going to just pay attention to one sense at a time. We're going to end with sight, as that is our overused sense. We rely on that too much, most of us do. And we will begin by taking 2 nice deep breaths. You ready? As deep as someone could take while running. And one more. Thank you. The danger around here actually is there's loads of flies in these parts, and the amount of flies I swallow while running along here is insane. So adding my microphone to the mix and talking and adding a deep breath in there. I'm surprised I haven't swallowed a fly yet, and there's a good chance at some point in this run I'm going to do it, and then you'll have to deal with me being like and that's another noise. I know some of you are going to be like, did Tina really make that noise? Just like some of you were having fun with me making the stomach gurgling or the angry stomach noise a few weeks, well, I guess it was a few months ago. Okay, so let's do our senses. What do you smell? Oh, there we go. Ding. I knew it was going to ding. Why do they always have it set to ding? And no looking down. For those of you trying to figure out what my pace is, doesn't matter. Yes, what do you smell? For me, it's just a comforting smell. Familiar. Can't really describe it. It's just the St Albans smell. What do you taste? For me, even though I haven't brushed my teeth since, I had some malt bread before this run, and then I just can taste it. I really like malt bread. I don't know if they do it in other countries. I don't really even know what it is, but I know it's like very dense, and I like it. So I always get it when I'm here. Those of you in the UK know the brand it will probably be, which is Serene. Nice yellow package. Anyway, I've been eating that this morning. Okay, next we're going to go on to what do we hear. That means we're going to just be in our bodies if it's safe for you to do so. When I tell you to, you will remove your headphones and just listen to your surroundings. And put your headphones back after about 30-ish seconds, and we'll check in and see what we both came up with. If it's not safe for you, you can just listen to my sounds, and which has been probably pretty overpowered by the airplane up ahead, above my head, I should say. Aeroplane or airplane? Which word do I use? I'm in England, so I'm going to say aeroplane. And most of you maybe had no idea there was a difference. But yes, there is, as with most things. Okay. All right. Of course, there's obviously lots of other things people call the giant metal thing that flies through the sky. Can't remember what it is in German. That's the only other language I learned. It's probably something really easy, and I'm completely drawing a blank. But yeah. Okay. What do you hear? Take out your headphones if it's safe to do so. Let's check in a little bit. Few more seconds. Okay, what did you hear? For me, I had the loss of the plane, had a car, had some birds, heard the sound of my feet on the gravel, just getting into the forest now. Hear that pigeon. That's how I always know I'm in England. Tell me you're in England without telling me you're in England. That would be my thing. Bailey thought it was an owl for the first few days. She kept being like, "There's owls!" Like, sorry to disappoint you, but it's just a pigeon. Yeah, and my breathing. What about you? Okay, next we will go into our sense of touch, feel, tactile, which means we're going to be in our body and noticing what we feel. Could be on the inside, could be on your skin, on the outside. Whatever jumps to you, just follow your awareness wherever it goes. Give you a little bit of time to do that now. A few more seconds. Okay, for me, feel my phone in my hand. Not used to that sensation anymore. Feel my foot slipping a little bit under the gravel. Also not used to running on gravel. I feel my legs slightly kicking, my feet kicking my legs a little bit. I feel the wind blowing against my face. What do you feel? Or what did you feel? Love to hear. Just went past a sign that said, a little wooden sign said, take a peek, what do you see? They're obviously on the same wavelength we are. Although we're not quite at sight yet. Okay. And speaking of sight, let's move on to that. Oh, there is a dog running towards me. Oh, stopped.
Easy. Come on.
See, I've talked about this, moaned about this, complained about this a lot. That was a perfect example. The dog started running towards me. It stopped. It got excited again, started running after me. Before it got anywhere near me, the owner said, whatever, Susie, stop. And Susie stopped. And that's how it should be. So there we go. Anyway, let's go into it. What do you see? Few more seconds. Okay. Well, what do I see? The first thing that comes to mind when I ask myself that question, even though, yes, I know, coming to mind should be in my body and just taking my awareness from place to place. But what comes to mind is, if I came here every day, I would feel a whole lot more optimistic and positive about the world. I mentioned this place is called Hartwood Forest, and yet, as I said, I'm running on gravel. Well, not anymore, because this is a big chunk of land. I was kind of just sitting here, wasn't really doing anything, that they're turning into a forest. So there's so many trees that are probably 5 to 10 years old, and there's so many wildflowers, like all around. I see all the colours of the rainbow, just wildflowers, which makes me so happy. And they do have a bit of this forest that was originally there as a forest, just a forest you would think of, and that's where it just goes totally blue in the spring with bluebells. It's beautiful. Anyway, what do I see? I mentioned quite a few of them. Wildflowers of every colour, just baby oaks, baby trees. I see a woman with a dog. I see little carved wooden statues of various animals, which have been used to help entertain my kids from one spot to the next when we've been on walks here. See grass that's taller than me, which in the US I just don't see. I really wish I could get a movement going to leave grass going a bit more. Oh, I'm going to go through this tunnel that has loads of owls on it. little wooden arch, and I see flies. Okay, right, we've done a physical check-in. Mentally, I can really tell how my accent sounds stronger. I'll be curious to hear what you think, but I can hear some words that I'm saying that I can tell, how are you really? I can hear that compared to how I would normally say it in these runs. So I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. Anyway, how are you really? What would you tell me? If we were running alongside one another, what would you say? And, if you're not comfortable, if you would never be comfortable, you can just tell yourself. Be honest with yourself. A few more seconds. Okay, so thank you for sharing with me. Oh, so many flies. How you are doing. Now, how would I answer that question? I'm going past some people, so it's going to be a little bit awkward. But what would I say? I think I would say that I'm feeling right now I'm surrounded by all these baby trees, which just makes me feel full up and happy and believe that we can figure things out, that there are people with such a genuine heart who are working on making the world we believe it can be. I feel a bit worn down, as I mentioned already. Let's go in the woods. There's the woods. Feel a bit worn down already. I feel a bit like bittersweet already. Have a week left here. Not much time left with my mum and dad. And so trying to make the most of that while also recognising that I've had a really nice time with them. I'm feeling filled up with a weekend with my friends, many of which I have just known for, whoa, jeez. I knew there was a dog somewhere around. You'd hear her yelling, and it came bolting out of nowhere. This is so beautiful. I just love being in forest. It's like dark in here. So many trees are splitting off. They look healthy and happy. See? So there you go. There was a real life burst of love coming through. God, this is so beautiful. And this isn't even like a spectacular forest. You may have seen, it was right around when I lost my mic, did a run with Yassine Daboon in Forest Park in Portland. And that's like picturesque, beautiful, like stunning. But it doesn't have to be that. Like I said, I'm 15 minutes from my parents' house. This forest isn't, particularly eye-catching, but it just, you look at it as a whole and then you look at it close up. I just feel so much awe for this planet, and more reason why we gotta do what we can to continue it, because this is going to survive, but we won't, or potentially, if we're not careful. Anyway, let's bring it back. So you heard some about how are you, how am I. The next thing I want to ask you, we've got about 5 minutes left for the 30-minute group. I just want to draw attention one more thing, and this one first. Just went past a fallen tree, very large one, that must have fallen quite a while ago, starting to rot. It's also becoming humus, becoming a home for many other animals and organisms, and that is as much as importance as a living tree. Okay, so yeah, talked about how are you. Thank you for doing your check-in. We will just about get the updates done, and we'll do a few strides, say bye to the 30-minute group before we continue on and have a bit of a chat. So I want to ask you now, if this is your first time joining one of these, what would you say about yourself? If I said, tell me about you, what would you say? If you've done one of these before, you know the drill. What updates do you have? Like I said, it's been probably 6 weeks since I did one of these. You may have done one more recently. Whatever you feel like filling me in on, let's go ahead and share. What do you want to say? I want to say my watch is going to be penny seconds, so I apologise because the mic's right near it. Okay, what updates do you have? Few more seconds. Okay, thank you for sharing, or potentially not sharing, but having some time with your thoughts to think about what you have been up to lately. I'm obviously, knowing me, not going to be able to get all my updates in before we hit 30 minutes, but I'll start. Well, I'm here in England. I'm having a really nice time. Came in with the three of us, me and the girls, went straight up to my sister's and had a really nice 6 days with them. My nephew had chicken pox and was coming on the tail end of it, just the last few little ones, because in England you don't get a vaccine unless you want to pay for one, and most people don't because it's expensive. And so he had it. So it was kind of a weird thing because my girls had had the vaccine because they give it to everyone in the US. And it was weird because, like, you're always taught in England how contagious it is. You better watch out, and then all of a sudden I'm putting my kids around someone. Well, I guess better not watch out. You're going to get it at some point, but when it comes, it's going to be pretty tough. Going back in the woods now. Anyway, so we made the most of it. He was a bit upset the first few days, but it was good. We just had a nice time. Harrogate is beautiful. Really enjoyed it. Enjoyed the time with my family. Came back, saw some of my aunts, and then had two of my close friends' wedding, really. And then one of my other good friends was the officiant. So it was very personal service and just beautifully done. Actually, she's a humanist. I should correct myself there. And it was just such a nice service. And there was 20 of us from my class at school. And we're all pretty close still. Had such a nice evening day, catching up. And the best way I can describe it, you probably have some people like this. One of my friends he's probably actually on the lower end of like people I'm close to in that group. He's probably, right, he's still a friend, but anyway, we were all dancing on the dance floor, and as I did most of the night, and he said, I love dancing with you, but I'm going to swear, it's just like, I really just fucking love it that you're here. And that kind of sums up how I feel, because a lot of the time living here in America, I don't get to be here for many of the events. I had to miss 2 close friends' weddings during the pandemic, and that was heartbreaking for me. So it was just really nice evening. And then the next day there's a barbecue, and that was really nice. We were all pretty tired. But I just, people that you've known for 20 years, I mean, one of my friends there in particular, our parents are very close friends, and we met as babies. So like having that level of relationship with people, even if in many ways, like none of them are runners, or if they do run, it's like 5K once in a while. There's a lot of, difference between us now, but you've always got that coming together thing, and it just feels like it always was. And so, yeah, it was really, really nice. I'm still kind of riding the high of that. What else? Well, I guess last time I did, way past the 30 minute mark. 30-minute group might have gone already. But either way, if you haven't, come to a walk now. Sorry about that. Definitely carried away in wedding talk. I'll give you about 30 seconds more if you're still here. We'll do 2 strides, which is going to mean 10 to 15 seconds of picking it up. About 80% of your max. You're not trying to take big steps. You're trying to take more steps. So you go faster. Again, 80% doesn't have to be anything all out. And I'll tell you when to stop. You ready? 3, 2, and 1. You can hear I'm taking more steps, right? Increasing my cadence. And come to a jog or a walk. And just take this in for a second. You know all these birds. This is that bluebell forest I was telling you about. I mean, that noise. I used to get so annoyed by birdsong when I was younger. I've got another story in a minute after the second stride. When I was younger and a teenager, I'd be like, those bloody birds waking me up at 4 a.m. Shut up. And now I'm like, this is the most peaceful noise. I could listen to it. I could fall asleep to it. Okay. Another stride coming. Ready? 3, 2, and 1. and come to a jog or a walk. 30-minute group if you're still here. Thank you so much for joining me. 45, 60, we've got more to go. That said, I want to actually ask some opinions, and I'm going to ask your opinion of something when I finish with the updates. So if you want to hang around, I'd love for you to just listen along, but understand if you've got to go. Okay, so updates. One thing I want to mention that I said a second ago. So, what was I going to say now? Oh, it's gone. Something about kids and sleep overnight. I can't remember. Anyway, so I was in Portland. Had a nice time. My parents came to visit. It was nice having them. Was feeling a little bit stressed just because I've been in Portland with Steve's family, and then my parents came, and then I was coming here, so I really wasn't getting the chance to do much of anything work-wise, and I was getting a bit flustered about that. But otherwise, it was really nice to have them come visit and just enjoy their company and make the most of them being here. It's really annoying. Can't remember what I was going to say. So, yeah, I don't know. Forest. Was it about the forest? Being in the forest? I told you about the bluebell forest that we're in now. I don't know what it was. Okay. So, I said about... I will give a few more things I want to share about from the last few weeks and months. But for now... I haven't even told you about the altar from Mike. Let's do that, and then I'll tell you about what I could use your help with. Okay, so, you know now, or do you know? No. Wow, yeah. So I did one in St. Louis where I talked about not doing the race. That was the last one. Okay. So I didn't do that race. And then, it must have been a week later. I saw a picture I logged into Instagram and I saw a picture of Mike Wardian standing next to a sign that said Missouri. Now, that in itself shows the Instagram algorithm, doesn't it? Because I hadn't seen Mike Wardian's post in a long time. Hadn't seen them the rest of the time he was running across America. But once he got in Missouri, he must have picked up the word Missouri and shown it to me when I logged in. Anyway, so he saw that and I thought, what is he doing in Missouri? Looked it up. He's running across America 50 plus miles a day. Is he coming through St. Louis? Yes, he's coming through St. Louis. So I was like, well, go run with him. So I texted him and said I was going to join him, and so I arranged to on the Saturday. Bit of an inconvenience for my family, but Steve knew this isn't something that happens every day, so we worked around it. And then so I ran with him. I'm running with him, did 10 miles with him, and during that time he's like, I was telling him about this race that I couldn't do, 50k, and he's like, oh, you could do 50k with me, you could do 50 miles with me. And so for a little while we were like, yeah, imagine if I did 50 miles. And then we kind of got to a point where we're like, yeah, don't think you can go from no more than 4 hours of running to 12 hours of running. I actually, looking back, do think I could have made it. Anyway, so then he's like, well, you could go 33 miles, then that would be the furthest anyone's gone. And, he's poking my competitive bear. I reacted and talked to Steve and my mum before he said anything. But they said, yeah, go for it. So the next day, he happened to be starting 5 minutes from my house. And so I started the run with him, ran through St. Louis with a load of friends, which was really cool. Went through East St. Louis, which is, when I moved to St. Louis, every single person I met was like, whatever you do, don't go in East St. Louis. And it was very surreal, Mike and I running through it. Kind of hurt my heart a little bit because it just looked desolate, forgotten. You can see, you know, of course, things are going to happen when people are just abandoned. I mean, there was trees growing out of the second floor of buildings, and buildings that you couldn't even see because the overgrowth had totally swallowed them. Again, that was another reminder for me that nature will prevail, even if humans aren't here anymore. But it felt like a scene from I Am Legend. It was very surreal. We kept going. It was like 95 degrees. It was really, really hot. But I ended up running 33 miles with him. I think I could have done 40, but it was amazing and just such a good way to knock off that ultra distance without the like fanfare that I've been kind of doing for the other 2 attempts. And I'm going to tell you now, as this will come out afterwards, or maybe it will come out before, there is a 57k this weekend near my aunt's house where I'm going to be, and so I'm entered. Haven't decided 100% if I'm doing it or not, but I'm entered, so we will see. It's a really tough one actually, up and down Snowdonia mountain, even though my friends, ultra friends, have said that's going to be a really tough race. I hope you better be ready to walk a lot. So I will see if I do it. I may not. Actually, really haven't decided yet. So, okay. 4 more minutes till the 45-minute group will peel off. We'll do some more strides. Okay, so I said about some ideas. So these together runs, I've really missed them. But I've also thought about, with the team, how we could take them to the next level. It's nice having these regular runs, but many of you have said you do like the workouts, or you did like the workouts we did. It was fun to do it together. So we're thinking, like, what if we did a 3-month course of together runs? So I wouldn't run with you every day, but I'd maybe do like an easy run, a workout, and a long run with you, or maybe part of the long run. And if it was like a 3 to 4 hour run, I'm not sure that I would be able to handle that long. But could I do like 2 hours and then send you off? Yeah. So doing something like that. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. I am going to admit this would be a paid thing, because as you can imagine, that's quite an investment on my end to make those. But I'd basically be a training partner so how it would work is, you'd have to pick a race, like a distance, and work backwards. And we do it together, essentially. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Is that something you'd be interested in? I mean, it's a totally new way of preparing for a race, right? Because, there's training plans, but this would be a training partner. And for those of you who live in more rural areas, or where you don't have people to run with, or your schedule doesn't allow it, might be a nice option to feel like you're running with people. So after you listen to this, can you let me know? I'd really love to hear. The second thing I want to tell you is we are going to begin what we're calling weekly strides, a segment on Wednesdays on the podcast feed, where I will be answering you, primarily I will be answering your questions. So I've already been recording a few of them. Yes, those of you who remember it, basically Tina for real, just dripped out weekly because it was too much for me trying to do it. I can't even remember how many days a week I was doing it, like 5. So yeah, it'll be once a week you can submit your questions. I want to set up the thing where you can leave a voice memo, but otherwise I'm just working through the questions you've had over various times. And so that will be coming out on Wednesday. Ooh, that was a fly or a bee right on my face. Various times, just let me know if you don't have to let me know, but go subscribe if you're not already, so you can get those to you. They're in very Tina fashion in terms of they are just straight, conversational, relaxed, very unprompted and unprepared. So, yeah. Okay. Come to a walk if you're with a 45-minute group. And we're going to do 2 strides. Give you about 30 seconds, 30 seconds to catch your breath. And then we will do 2 strides. And in 60-minute group, you can hang on. I don't know which direction I will go in. I've got so much I could share. All right. So many flies. Definitely going to swallow one before this run is done. All right, you don't need as much recovery. Are we ready? I think I'm in the right place. Yeah. All right. 3, 2, and 1. Come to a jog or a walk. And I've said this before, but not in a while. If you have the choice for these of up or down, I'd probably lean towards going uphill rather than downhill if you're not used to doing these, doing strides, because it's just going to put a lot of stress on your joints. If you're not used to doing strides and you're now running really fast downhill, especially as a lot of runners overstride, and that puts a hell of a lot of stress on your shin and your knee and your hip. Okay, we'll give another... I told you it was gonna... Well, I got it out though, that's the thing. At least... Can't believe I just recorded that. A lot of the time when you get it, they go into the back of the throat and you can't get them, and you just have to swallow for like minutes, and you just feel it sitting in the back of your throat. Ugh. At least I got it out this time. Ugh, yuck. Well, I told you, didn't I? Ugh. All right, are we ready? Another stride. 3, 2, and 1. And come to a jog or a walk. Was that the second one? I think it was. All right, 45-minute friends. Thank you so much for joining. If you want to hang out and listen, you're welcome to. As you can tell, this is a very impromptu, random, real episode. I just swallowed a fly and you heard me spit it out. You heard my real life reaction to it. This could not be more different than a lot of things, you know, Instagram influencers or people put things online and you're like, life can't be that easy for you. Oh, that's funny. It's gross, but I'm just so relieved I spat it out. Oh, I much prefer that to when it gets stuck in your throat. Okay. Alright, so what should we talk about now? Well, just running back towards the bridle path that leads to my home, parents' home. It's been nice being back here. Still obviously have the threat of COVID. Ow! Oh, that really hurt. Oof. Alright, I might have to... Oh, god damn it, that hurt. Ow. Oh, that is going to leave a massive bruise. Oh man, that hurts. Oh, give me that really, like my whole arm is numb. Ow. God, that really hurts. Elbow caught on a bin or trash can and the handle. It's already bruising. Oh, God, that hurts. Oh. Not sure you even ever had this before either. Most people would turn the mic off. Boop. This program has been interrupted. Okay, it's easing up a bit now. It's like, now it's gone red from a graze. Or maybe it's purple already, I can't tell. It's like right by my funny bone. It's not funny at all. I don't know how I misjudged that. But, yeah. This is just the ultimate real run. What the hell's going to happen next? I think I should be really careful at, like, road crossings or something. I'm going to get stung by a bee, probably. That's actually something I could talk about. Now season up now. Whew, that hurt really bad. Okay. Still hurts, but tolerable now. We're probably down to like a 4 or 5, whereas that was like a 8 before, with 10 being childbirth. Obviously a lot more sustained. That was probably a minute of being an 8 versus a lot longer. Anyway, bees. I've been thinking a lot about lately how, like, you know, when I was younger I was so scared of bees. You didn't want to touch them, of course, you didn't want to get stung by them, but you also kind of saw them as a nuisance, or at least I did, like stupid bee ruining my fun. Whereas now, when I see a bee, I just feel like love for it, like it's surviving against all odds and it's keeping this world held together. And so it's just funny seeing the difference. Like, I just find myself just watching them doing their thing. Just, you know, walking along, see a bee doing its stuff, and I'm just stopping to admire it, as if I think it's not going to be here for much longer. Of course, if it does go extinct, so do we. But, yeah, just a funny of a difference of a perspective, I suppose. Still loads of flies. There's every chance I could swallow another one. Maybe I don't want to do this together. Training plan. How many flies are going to hear me swallow in that? Yeah. And that obviously poses a challenge to these together training things, is, you know me, and I very much just go where my mind is in that moment. But, like, you know, I couldn't talk about current things happening, because you might do the plan now, but you might do it again in 5 years and it wouldn't be relevant, you know? So, also need to make sure I turn off my watch beeping. Yeah. Okay. What else have I got to say? Let's do a body scan. I can be in my throbbing for a moment, but I want you to just take a minute, do a scan at your own pace, and let's just check back in with your body. Few more seconds. Okay. how's your body feeling now compared to the beginning? You notice any major differences? For me, I obviously have a throbbing left arm, but I do feel a little bit better in my body in general. I'm going to be very careful at this road crossing, so I feel like I'm going to get another thing happen. Let's do a mental check-in as well. How are you? How are you feeling compared to the beginning of the run? What would you tell me? Won't be very long, just do 30 seconds. For me, mentally, I actually feel good. I feel like I've needed this. Maybe you've been my therapy all along. You know, honestly, actually, on that note, I've got the feeling, the awareness, or whatever the word would be, I don't know, that like the last month I've been kind of hard to deal with by my loved ones. I don't know why, I just get the sense that like I'm being awkward, and I can get quite, my dad is like the most pessimist person ever, and sometimes I kind of like pick that up, and so I feel like in some ways I've been very negative about the world, and maybe you've even picked that up, and I thought I'd totally fallen off the bandwagon with my journaling, and I'm really frustrated with myself for that. I did it yesterday, I'm going to make sure I do it today. I thought maybe it was that was what I was, you know, what I needed in my life. But maybe it's been you and not having these therapy sessions you give me for free. Because I also haven't been doing these. And as I said, I really enjoy these. And I'm going past loads of bins, so I'll give them a very big space this time. I really do enjoy these runs with you and seeing your photos afterwards. So make sure you take one of you doing this run. I really love to see them. Like, honestly, I know it can feel like, I can't be bothered, but do it and share it with me, or on the internet, on your social media, because I really, really do love to see it. Okay, and yeah, so maybe all along, while my mic is missing, it's been affecting me not having it, these together runs. I don't know. Have you missed them? Have you noticed? Because it's quite easy to slip out of the habit of something, isn't it? Like I just mentioned about my journal, I was so like on it with that. Made sure every morning I was doing it the first thing I woke up, and now I just haven't been. And I'm also a little bit sad for that, because I know that that's all those times, like special times, being in Portland, being, with my parents, the trip to New York, all that special memories is going to fade with my memory, and I'll have no recollection of it. So I need to get back into that. Okay, let's go ahead and do our last strides. Just going to do 10 seconds. Are you ready? 3, 2, and 1. Oh, I don't remember what I was going to say now. I'll tell you in a second. And going to a jog or a walk. Give ourselves a minute and we'll do one more. What I was going to say is, a few nights ago, Chloe, it wasn't the night the wedding finished, but the night after, I was exhausted from the wedding and having to get up to go pick up Steve at 7. But Chloe had croup, and so she had this barking cough, and she was, kind of wheezing, and cold air helped. Well, someone told me that once. So I took her outside, seemed to help. Right, let's do our last stride. In 3, 2, and 1. Do this and I'll finish telling you. And come to a jog for the last few seconds of our run. And 1 hour. So I ended up going out, putting her in the carrier and going for a walk from my parents' house at 3 in the morning, walking like half a mile up and then half a mile back. And it was weird because I could hear foxes first. It was very quiet. There's no street lights on at that time, very dark. But then it started getting light. Here in England, it gets light. The sunrise starts at like 3:15, which is so surreal. And so teenage me hated that in the summer, that it started getting light so early and the birds start singing. So yeah, all right, let's connect in with an element of nature. I'm going to just rub my hands along someone's bush. Thank you so much for joining me. Go ahead and take a picture of yourself now, where you're finishing your run or where you are mid-run. I really want to see. I took an arm beating for you today. So the least you could do is take a picture for me. I'm going to guilt you. All right, friends. I will see you next week. Thanks for joining me. Hi friends, just a quick message to say a big thank you to the Running for Real team. While I may be the face of Running for Real and the voice behind the podcast, there are a group of people who are working tirelessly to provide everything that runners could need within our community, to make our community stronger, better, and evolve and grow and learn from one another. We are working really hard to make Running for Real the place we believe it can be within our community. I just want to take a moment to thank everyone on our team. That is Victoria, Stacey, Sandy, Sally, Maria, Kelsey, Kat, Jeremy, and Erica. I appreciate each and every one of you and the hard work that you put in. Now let's get back to the show.